Yes, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. He is live.
Jade, what hat are you wearing?
J.J. Watt, man.
J.J. Watt hat is what he's wearing.
Texans?
You're
Can
pretty
we
smart.
Can we see the front? Oh, there you go.
You gotta support J.J. Watt.
All right, man.
The boys played for the Texans last year.
Okay, so we're good to go. Cannon's out of here. Hopefully he'll come join us in a minute. Welcome, Jade. How are you? How are you finally doing after all these months of being able to get you to come on the show? I'm so happy to finally have you here and in full HD audio.
I'm doing good, man. It's been hard. I'm not really good with technology. It is what it is.
That's okay, man. You're a smart guy. So hello and welcome to the only live interactive streaming video show on the planet that discusses, debates, and delivers important tips and tools for dads like you and me. Congratulations, Jade. You have personally been selected to step up to the mic and deliver fresh, relevant content, tell stories, and share your own personal path to fatherhood. Want to learn more about the most important job a man will ever have? Need to hear dinner table topics and captivating stories that will capture your children's attention and imagination. On this show, we will learn and grow together as a community while holding each other accountable to improve every day. So what are you waiting for? It's time to show the world what makes you a father of the future. Be honest, tell your friends, laugh, cry, and open your heart so that we can all learn what it takes to be committed and devoted to the children in our lives. My name is Luke Kayyem, and I am a father of the future. My brother, Jade McLeod, aloha and welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. We were rushing back here from the other side of the island to be able to get to a decent Wi-Fi, and we think we found one. You had a few technical difficulties on the first round of this, so we're here, we're working, it's working. Kids are in the pool. Where are your boys? Who are they? What are their names, and how old are they?
Caden just turned 13 on the 10th. Connor's going to be 12 on the 27th of November, and Kalani is 8. They're at Barbell for Boobs CrossFit Solana, man. They're out there doing the benefit for the breast cancer awareness, eating all the free food. Dad's at home online with you. Took about 30 minutes to get online, but I'm here.
But you got it figured out now.
Yep.
Excellent. And your boys, you got 3 boys. Obviously, they're your world. They're your life. What does it mean to you to be raising those kids each and every day and not just be around, but be completely engaged and involved in their life?
Well, to be completely honest, I wasn't around for a long time due to the military, So here lately with things that have happened personally, I've had to change jobs and change my career, and now I'm around a lot more, so it's better. But they're already built in their ways from the way their mother raised them and stuff. So the way we both raised them, but it's a little bit better now because I'm around a lot longer.
Yeah, so you got out of the military after 10 years, 12 years?
Almost 13.
Almost 13 years, and obviously that was a huge and major life decision that you had to make. What was one of the major reasons why you did that?
Well, I sat down and I advised a plan. I looked at everything, and I was like, wow, for almost 13 years I've been in the military, almost 7 full years away from my family. So more than half the time that I was in the military, I spent away from my family, and so I had to pull back. Obviously, you're going to change as a person, and like, how am I going to be a good father if I'm never around? So I just changed to a different combat zone.
And what are you doing now?
I'm a police officer in Vallejo. Love it. The good thing is though, I work 3 days a week. I get to come home at the end of the night and kiss my kids, take them to school, pick them up from school, do whatever I can, go to football practice and be around versus, being on Skype like we are now, trying to raise my child through a computer screen.
So for those who may not know exactly what Vallejo, California is all about, tell us a little bit about how dangerous your job is and how, what you did learn in your combat military experience has helped you now with what you're doing.
Obviously, everybody knows that in 2007 they went through bankruptcy. The city lost a lot, so you cut your people in half. So it went from a force of maybe 120 people down to like 60 people. That just made it a breeding ground for crime. A lot of people came there and did what they had to do, and whether it's sell drugs, do whatever, because they knew the response time wouldn't be that great. So now we're building back up. As far as what I learned in combat, all my tactics and stuff like that, is just leadership, and I try to bring that. Obviously, I'm brand new. I'm a nobody, But what I learned from over there to bring it and help them, there goes my little man right there, and just make it better. So we're back up to about 100 cops now. It's getting a lot better. It's a beautiful place, but it is one of the most dangerous cities in California, in Northern California anyways.
And some of the famous people that we might know that have come out of Vallejo, who are they?
Tug McGraw, Tim McGraw's dad, Jeff Gordon, E40, Sabathia, Mac Dre, Neff the Pharaoh. He's the new rapper. There's a lot. There's a lot of history in Vallejo, man.
And what are the surrounding cities?
You have Benicia, Fairfield, Hercules, Cocoa County, which is Contra Costa. Richmond's not too far. That's about it.
You want to say hi to Uncle Jade there, Moose?
Moose!
sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Go. Yeah, Moose is having a good time. So, we're here in Maui right now. Mom's on a work trip, so we decided to be able to come.
The oldest, Caden, is 13. Say hi.
What's up, brother? How are you? I'm going to have to get Caden on his own show here now that he's old enough to, practically enlist in the military.
No, he's got a mustache already, bro.
What do you want from your kids that you didn't have growing up?
Resources. I didn't have a whole lot. So I'm thankful for that every day, the way that I was raised. I tell my mom and my dad, they both went separate paths. They went through hard times. My mom's still having hard times, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So whatever myself and Amber can give them as far as resources, we want them to use it. So I always thought that I'd be the person that would push and push and push them to pursue like football like we did. But we've sat back and let them discover what they want to do. And now they pretty much dove into the water of football, and we let them know, like, we got the resources, but education is first, man.
And who did raise you? Tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, where you were raised, what your mom and dad were like, and what those relationships are like now.
Let's see. My mom in the streets until I was about 10. And then my grandfather, Jim Montgomery, he pretty much was a pinnacle part in my life between the time of 10 and 13. My dad was an alcoholic. He sobered up when I was about 13. And so my grandfather pretty much passed me off to my dad. My dad moved me out to Georgia. So I don't think if it wasn't for my grandfather, man, I wouldn't be here. I really don't. He stepped up. My mom couldn't do it anymore. Not that she was a bad mother, but it was just, like I said, it was hard times. She had me when she was 16. It was just hard times.
What's your guys' relationship like now?
Super close. I mean, it's more on the phone, but we understand each other. She knows I love her with all my heart. It's not, Christmas cards and Halloween cards and things of that nature. It's a little bit different than what people are used to, but she knows at the end of the day that I love her with all my heart, and that's all she needs to know, man.
And what about your dad? I got a chance to meet him when you graduated from Ranger School, and he obviously seemed like a pretty interesting, exciting, and a guy that was fun to be around. Was he always like that?
Dad's a trip. Yeah. So him and my mom split when I was 2 months old. He was super, super into drugs, super into drinking, but was always around where I was and was always throwing ball with me and was always a huge, huge part of my life no matter what. And it wasn't until I was 10 years old, I was already smart as a whip, and I asked him to stop drinking, and he told me, I swear to God, this is my last bottle. He threw that bottle. He hitchhiked to Loma Linda Hospital, VA hospital there in Loma Linda, and it's been 27 years later. He's sober. It was 3 years after that I moved with him to Atlanta. He's a deacon of his church now. He's an advocate for drugs and alcohol, and he stepped up, man. He really did.
Now, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I was the only child. I got Andy and Aaron. They're both in my dad's second marriage. Good people, man.
Now, how did the military change your life? Obviously, I know you, and I know a side of you that most people don't, and they probably never will. But, we don't need to get into too much details besides the fact that, you were headed down a path that, wasn't very let's see, how can we explain this? You were headed down a path that you wouldn't be as proud of today that you are for your experience in the military. What made you decide to make that call? And when and where did it happen?
No, at the time I was really happy when I was young, because I was headed nowhere. But I was comfortable with it because we always liked a challenge. We wouldn't say no to anything. I was a spark plug.
No, I cannot.
I was a spark plug, right? I mean, I didn't take any crap from anybody, and I found a lot of trouble. But it wasn't obviously until I met Amber, and I felt like I had something to push forward to. And then, I just the towers obviously happened. We were both doing our thing with the gyms and trying to sell gym memberships, and I saw the towers go down, and I was like, dude, that's what I got to do. That's my calling, obviously. Had a kid coming. Caden was coming. So I joined back in, right after the towers hit. And what that did as far as changing me was I didn't do the knucklehead stuff that I did anymore. I had to answer up. I was held to a higher standard. I was given standards, and I was supposed to abide by them. And after a while, I started respecting that, and I always thought that I would never be that person, that no one could ever tame me and get me to settle down. But I'll tell you what, it took a huge part of my heart, and I'll never forget what the military gave me. It gave me a lot of responsibilities, and it taught me how to be a better person.
So what about your kids? What about your boys? What would you feel like if they decided that they wanted to go down the path that you went down and be in the military?
Well, I know I have one that's probably going to do it, and that's Connor. I don't know. I feel like I did it so they don't have to do it. I think we're headed in a different direction. This country, I don't want to get all patriotic, and I don't want to get into politics, but I think we're headed. It's going to be totally different by the time they're ready to go. But if it's something that they truly want to do, then I'll just be there. Like myself and Amber, all we really do is we just communicate. I feel if you communicate with your kids and you're always staying on top of it, you don't tell them they can't do anything, but tell them why they can or why they can't, and give them the good, the bad, the ugly. They're going to make their own decisions, man. They're going to fall. You just got to be there to pick them back up. These are my clowns in the background. They're home.
Yeah, I see that. Tell Kalani we said
That's
what's
Kalani.
up.
Kalani, they said what's up. Yeah, they're clowns. That's Kalani right there. That's my little man. Kalani. And that's Caden right there. And this is
Connor.
Connor, a.k.a. Boogie.
All right, so if you could go back in time and see your 18-year-old self, what would you say to him?
What would I say to him?
Yeah, what would you say to him right now, where you are in your life, if you had a window of opportunity to be able to talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you say?
Follow your goals and follow your dreams. Stick with them. Don't quit.
Okay, that was like a modified belly flop.
I quit on them. You know me, dude. I wanted to play ball, and I quit on it. I got focused on other things, and I think if anybody knows anything about Palm Springs or the desert, it's a vacuum cleaner, man. You get sucked back in every time. And I listened to other people that influenced me, that were relevant to what my goals were, and that's where I'm at today. But I'm happy where I am.
All right, so your youngest is 8 years old or just 7 years old?
He's 8.
Right.
Kalani is this clown right here.
7 and 13. So in 11 years, you're all three boys are out of the house, right? That puts you at what? 47, 48 years old?
Yeah.
In 11 years, you'll be right around there, right? What are you going to do? I mean, you'll be close to, retiring in California as a police officer. What do you want to do with the next phase of your life?
Raise my grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? I think it's important. A lot of people retire, and I think a lot of people, especially in stressful environments, right? So military, cops, so you hear about a lot of them dying right after they retire. I think it's because you're used to such a fast-paced life, right? And then you retire, and you're like, I'm just going to sit at home and not do anything. You have to keep the grind going and gradually slow down as it goes. So, I mean, travel, do things that I didn't get to do things that I couldn't do when I had the boys, things like that. That'd be fun. But, I mean, if they got families, I just want to be around for them, and spend as much time as I can with them, because, I mean, as we get older, left and right, we're losing people left and right? As you get older, people die. So, I mean, just make every day, make it worth something.
So you obviously learned a lot in your time in the military, but towards the end of your service in the Air Force, somebody said that you would not be able to become a Ranger, an Army Ranger. Tell us what happened, if you could relive that story for us, and tell us how that's helped you.
Yeah, I mean, I was 34, and I was in a unit that was full of alpha males, and everybody was always like, hey, I'll bet you this. Kalani, you need to settle down, bro. it was always like pissing up a rope per se with all these guys, and they said that I couldn't do it. And my chief gave me a phone call and said, "Hey, I heard you wanted to go to Ranger School." And I was like, "Yeah." I was actually going to leave my unit and go to another unit because they had the option for me to go. He's like, "It's funny you say that because they're having an Air Force pre-Ranger school in 30 days. And I hung the phone up and I thought, am I going to be ready for that 12 days of hell in 30 days? There's no way in hell. But I think you know me as well as I do. I love a challenge. And so I was like, yeah, I'll accept the challenge. And I went to our pre-Ranger school, which to me is not knocking the Ranger school, but that's the hardest thing I've ever done because, one, we don't just send anybody to Ranger school. If we sent everybody in the Air Force and Ranger school, we would look like a bunch of chumps, right? Because it's something that you have to really earn. And out of those 40 people, there was 2 of us that got goes. And then when I went to Ranger school, it's a suck fest. You just got to keep driving on. You're either A, you're going to quit, or you're going to drop out medically. And it's just one of those things. I had a lot to come home to, and I had a lot to prove to these guys right here, to my boys, that I could do it. And man, it was a huge accomplishment. And I think the day that I graduated, you saw it on my face. I lost about 64 pounds.
Hardest thing you've ever done in your life?
No. The hardest thing I've ever done in my life was go through our FTO program here at Vallejo. That was the hardest thing because at Ranger School, obviously I wasn't going to quit. So I know that I have a job at the end of the day. Being a police officer, if you don't make the FTO program or you don't make probation, you don't have a job. Then what? The military, you always have a job. If you don't make special schools, you come back home and everybody tells you like, oh, it's all good. You tried. Well, if you don't make it out here on the streets, you don't have a job. You don't have a roof. Your kids don't eat. So I honestly think that the FTO program, because it's fast paced and it's real life. Ranger School is a school. This is real life. I'm pulling guns out on people. Guys have guns. You see what's going on in today's society with cops. Nobody likes this. I'm not going to make excuses, man, but it's a dangerous job.
What's it like being in California for this job? It's got to be one of the toughest places out there. I know in Scottsdale where we are, we have a few friends on the force, and the highlight of their day is pulling a cat from a tree or helping somebody get through a car accident. But how scary is Northern California and California in general?
It's pretty scary. I mean, the crime rate's pretty bad. But I will tell you that. And I tell a lot of other officers too, and they already know. I don't try to talk to the older officers, but obviously I came in this game a lot older than most of the guys that come in at young age, right? I'm 37 years old, so I think and I've felt through all my training that the biggest weapon we have is our mouth. It really is. So you can de-escalate a situation or escalate a situation just by the first approach on anybody on a normal. I don't want to say routine car stop because nothing's routine, but just the way you get out, because you already have an advantage. You don't know who's in that car. You don't know who you're dealing with. And it's a simple hello or a smile to start it off can really help. But yeah, it is a dangerous situation, and you can never be complacent, and no call is ever the same. And as long as you keep that in the back of your mind and you don't get complacent, you'll be fine. But it is a hard time to be an officer right now. It's a very hard time to be an officer.
How long do you see yourself doing this for? So you can retire, or as long as you want to? 19
years. I got 19 more years. But the greatest thing is I'm coming into the realm of video cameras. I don't know any better. Everybody's filming. I'm filming. I have a camera on, so film me. That's fine. Because if you stick to the script, you have nothing to worry about. I'm not violating you. If you're doing something stupid, I'm going to let you know you're doing something stupid. And then I'm going to tell you why I stopped you. And I'm going to hold you accountable because you should know. Other than that, then, it is what it is. Everything else is in God's hand.
What lessons do you come home with at the end of the day that you can teach your kids? Like if you see something happen, or, you can't always just put the fear in their minds, but what lessons do you see in the real world when you're working that you can bring home that they could adapt to?
I will tell you, there's a lot of things. I have rhino skin. I'm tough on a lot of things, but you see a lot of things with children in this career field. Whether you're feel like you're breaking up a home because there's been domestic violence and now the kids have to go to, CPS, and you feel like you're splitting a family up. And so I have a 15-minute drive home to where I got to digress all that and try not to bring home the bad stuff, right? But every day I learn something new, and I can communicate it back to them. You know, certain things like when they're being spoiled, you know, I can go back to the way that I was raised and tell them, like, I see kids that don't have to come home when the street lights are on, that don't know where their next meal is coming from. And so, like, I try to, I'm a visual learner, so I try to depict that picture for them so that they can understand it without, you know, making them feel bad. I'm not trying to make them feel bad, but let them know how fortunate they are. And it's helped us a lot as parents because they're not only respectable children, but they have hearts, man. And that's the failure in today's society is parents don't talk to their kids. There's a lot of screaming and yelling, and they just don't have the time to sit down and actually show them. And I see it. I'm not judging them, but that's what's wrong with today's society. And I see it firsthand because I'm arresting these kids that are 14 and 15, you know, and I'm talking to them in the back of the car because they might not have mentors. And once they get comfortable with you, they will talk to you. And it kills me because I'm getting kids that are shooting other kids that are my son's age at 13 years old. And it's not fair because as a parent, I'm like, man, this kid is Caden's age, you know, what's wrong? Why does he think this way? What's wrong? So I talk to him, you know, and sometimes it turns into Dr. Phil and they're in the back of that cop car and they're crying and I want to cry, you know? So those are things that I have to come home and if it's a certain situation that I feel that the boys can learn from it, then we're going to chew bubble gum. We're going to talk about it. So.
Okay, so we always talk about activities, and as a dad, you got to have more activities than just throwing a football and a baseball. Even though you have 3 boys and you can get away with that a lot longer than I can with a girl. I know you guys love to hike. I know you guys love to go and climb mountains and train and exercise and play sports, but what other activities have you done as a dad in your life that you absolutely love and that you'd like to share with the rest of the world?
Well, I'm not as patient as you, so the reading the books and all that stuff, I feel like that's what they go to school for, and if they need extra time, that's what we get tutors for. So I commend you for that, and I commend all the parents that do that. I don't do that. As far as activities, yeah, you know, like what you said, I'll do that stuff. And obviously Amber, their mom, I mean, they go to the gym with her, and she's very passionate in what she does, and so they feed off that as well, you know, and then I only give them the tools that I had and give them even more resources for whatever it is they want to do. But yeah, the beach, we go to the beach, you know, just like you are as far as being spiritually relaxed at the beach, I'm the same way. So we'll go to the beach. Obviously we like to hike and things of that nature if we get the chance, but we're both busy as parents working a lot. So, you know, we don't take the trips that a lot of families do. Right. You know, so, you know, movies, whatever it is, man, families flipped out because I took my sons to see Straight Outta Compton. I sure as hell did. You know what I did? And I sat there the entire time and I communicated with they wanted to see it, you know, and I communicated with my kids the entire time. What's this? What's that? And I saw families like, oh my God, those boys are in there. And I'm like, where are your kids at? Don't worry about me, man. I'm doing me. Cause you know what, Luke, we take our kids to people's houses. They don't stay the night at people's house all the time, but when they do, those parents never want to give my sons back. And I ask why, because they're very respectable human beings and they're just lovable kids. And that makes me feel better. When they're here, I'm like, I'm like, holy cow, I can't take these kids. But that's what we ask for, you know, and it's because we talk to them. We're not scared to live on the edge a little bit and let them see a movie. That just,
Yeah, Mom and I talk about it all the time with music, and I was listening to NWA in 4th grade. So, you know, he's in 3rd grade.
And I'm listening to Eminem.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm never going to be that dad or parent who says, you know, you can't listen to that because what are they going to want to do?
You really, in today's society, you really can't tell them that they're not going to do anything because there's so many avenues on the internet, on all the technology that we have. If you make it to where they can't do something, they're going to want to do it even more. You and me both know if you tell me no, that makes me want to do it. So by you just giving them a little bit, giving them a taste of it and say, hey, you know, this is what I think about it. You know, you listen to it, that's fine. But, you know, that's not the right thing to do. That's, you know, degrading women is not the right thing to do. This is, you know, and just communicate with them, then they'll learn from it and they'll respect you more for that versus just telling them no. Some of the worst kids I've met in my life, sheriff's daughter, the doctor's daughter, the preacher's daughter, because they put them in a room and they tell them they can't, and then they rebel. So,
what are you listening to right now, music-wise? You've always been a big music guy. What's in your playlist?
Man, this kid Kane Brown from Georgia, He's a country singer. He's a half white, half black boy. He's taking it to another level. A lot of country, man, honestly, because it's mellow and it's chill. I still love YG. I still listen to gangster music. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for, you know. But it's just music, man. You know, it's just something that gets me going for the moment. In the gym, I might listen to something, but it's music. It's irrelevant to the way that I really feel in my heart. It's just something that gets me going, you know. If I want to be a bad boy, I listen to bad boy music. If I want to be nice, then I listen to nice music. It doesn't, you know, depict who I am as a person.
All right, so this next part gets a little heavy here for a minute, but we all
hey,
want
get
to
heavy.
hear it.
I'm a heavy hitter.
If you were gone tomorrow, what would your kids say about you?
I was hard. The good thing about having a significant other that's there in the house is that I'm always going to ride them hard, but at the end of the day, I'll tell them I love them, but that's what they have their mother for. I'll break them down and she'll bring them back up. Yeah, so they'll say that I was hard on them, but I think they realize as I've gotten older that I always talk to them and say, this is why I did it. This is why I got in your ass. Sorry if I said ass. This is why I got into you. And you know, it's because of what I encountered in my 37 years. And so they see that. They know that I love them a lot, and that they know that I would do anything for them.
And what would your significant other say?
You'd have to ask her. You know, I mean, you'd have to ask her.
So kind of a tough time for you guys right now. How long you guys been together?
14. 15 total.
15 total years.
Mm-hmm.
And what's been the hardest part besides just growing old?
Man, change. Obviously the military, dude. All that time alone, you know, it's when you peel back the onion and you look at it for the bigger picture, you realize that there's a lot of time alone, you know. But I won't take away what she's done for these boys, dude. The boys are the way they are because of her. So I'll never take credit for that. You know, I'm the iron fist as far as the family and stuff, but dude, I missed a lot of years. There was a run there for like 3, almost 4 years where all the holidays I was gone, you know? So she was the glue that held them together and stuff. So commend her, you know, she wore a lot of hats for a lot of years.
All right, let's lighten it up here for
All
a minute. Singing, dancing. Who can dance the best out of the 4 boys?
Who can dance? I don't have 4. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. Who can dance the best out of all of us?
Yeah.
Dad's a pretty good dancer, but I would probably say, yeah, Connor. Connor has a lot of soul, man.
Connor's got the best.
Yeah.
You keep getting my computer wet, though, sissy. Yeah, you keep getting it wet.
Hey, it's Camille.
Camille's in the house.
Moosh. Hey, but I mean, I could flip the script right now. Hey, Cannon, who named you, bro?
You.
We know that story.
Well, you know that the story goes deep because there's somebody else that always claims that she named you, which I'm not even going to bring her name up. But I named you that. I named you that because I knew if this kid has an arm and it has the passion like his father, I'm telling you, Kayyem, that's going to sell, man. So you think your mom's a marketing manager? No, I got marketing down. And Kayyem has a cannon, obviously, so it's working. So I'm going to take full credit for that.
It's working. We'll put it on live broadcast air. Kayyem was named by his uncle, Jade McLeod. Jade, you got 3 boys, Caden, Kalonner, and Kalani. Kalonner.
He called you Kalonner.
Connor, Caden, Kalani.
Connor, Caden, and Kalani. What made you come up with those names?
Well, so for Caden, it was we searched around, and you know, we looked in the baby books and all that, and it was something that we really liked, but we wanted to be unique, so we wanted to, obviously back then everybody was spelling it with a C, so we started with a K. Connor was the same way. I was like, I wanted to keep it all. It was for selfish reasons, man. I was into tattoos, and I was like, oh, well, 5 letters will fit the body perfect because, you know, yeah. Anyways, but obviously I'm Scottish. Connor is a Scottish name, but we wanted to be different, so we spelled it with a K, and it's Konar, and it looks like it's Connor, but it's something that we made you know, that was special to us. And then obviously Amber's Hawaiian, so Kalani, you know, we spit this little dude out, and then we searched, and so we gave him a Hawaiian name, Kalani Kale. He's Kingdom of Heaven, so.
Yep, that's what it is.
And he's a turd, man. He really is. He's the youngest, so he's got to put up with everything. So,
Any great quotes that you've had in your lifetime or that you've picked up in your years in the service?
great quotes, man. You're gonna put me on blast like that? Yeah. Honestly, and it's gonna sound so cliche, but Rangers lead the way. And that's something that's gonna stick in my heart forever, because there's been a lot of times that I've wanted to quit since then, and I bring back all those things that I experienced in the time I was there and all the people that I worked with, because no one person makes it through that school, because you have to become a team and learn to work with each other. And man, I'll tell you what, that's something every day
What are they doing?
when I'm going to a call, or I feel like I'm just flat out being a big sissy, man, I always say that to myself. You know, it ain't about me leading the way per se, like it says, but it's like, suck it up, man. You can do this. Just do it. Drive on. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah, you can.
Quit being a bitch, man. Go. So,
Hey, lead from the front. I love it, man.
Always.
You got to have that.
yeah.
My brother
That's-
Jade, I want to thank you not only for being the only person in the world I've called a brother, but our good friend, our uncle, and somebody that we all look up to. Thank you for your service, my brother. Thank you for taking care of these boys and just being a guy that we can always count on.
Thank you for having me, dude.
One love from your
One
family
love.
here in
Bye,
Maui.
Cannon.
Love you guys. Hey,
Let me see if I can get Caden to flex. Flex, Caden. Let him see the muscles, dude. Come on. Come on. Oh, yeah.
It's yours.
Love you guys. Say aloha.
Later, bye.
See you guys soon. Okay. Bye.
Why did you say not bad for a 13-year-old? Why did you say not bad for a 13-year-old? And that's it.
All right, guys.
Jay,
That's
you
a
are a
wrap
father
for
of the future.
Fathers of the Future from Maui, Hawaii. I'm glad we care. We're going to go spend some time in the pool right now. Remember, activities, don't just be present, but be engaged, have fun, and play games. Aloha. My name is Luke Kayyem. This is Camille and Cannon, and we are the family of the future.